allow me to make something exceptionally clear. There is no Black National Anthem. That is a misnomer. That is an oxymoron as it relates to the United States of America. As many of you have seen or probably heard, the Super Bowl, which I personally didn't watch, I think the Super Bowl is actually a symptom of a broader cultural illness in America, but that's a separate video for a different day. But at the Super Bowl, there was a song performed, which has been informally dubbed by people who like the song, including the singer herself, who sung it at the Super Bowl, the Black National Anthem. And this song is essentially a Christian hymn from the early 1900s, the early 20th century, written by an NAACP person, which has come to symbolize, in our time of political and racial division, a sort of rallying call for people who want to be woke and socially aware and socially conscious. And the NFL decided it would be a wonderful idea to showcase this explicitly as and promote it explicitly as the Black National Anthem. Now, my friends, I must make this very clear, as I did a few moments ago. Any attempt to bog down the idea of America with racial overtones is not only anti-American, it goes against every single thing that a national anthem is supposed to represent. People who actually think that it's okay to have a Black National Anthem have a misconception of America and the nature of America. America, my friends, is not merely a country. It is not merely a social structure, or as the woke would tell us, a social structure that is built upon oppression and slavery. America is fundamentally an ideal about moral character, an ideal about virtue, and an ideal about a sort of good kind of political system. And in that ideal are universal principles that apply to every single human being that exists. Not just human beings who are white, not just human beings who are black, not just human beings who have papers from the customs office that say they're American. The idea of America is built upon the bedrock of humanity itself. The insult that the idea of a Black National Anthem gives to us is that America does not have a universal moral character. That America instead should be treated as a racial tool in the sort of dialectic fight for power. That's what I hear, and that's what I see whenever I hear the term Black National Anthem. Now, this is not the first time this idea has been brought forth. Macy Gray, a singer who I used to love and respect, actually suggested there be a Black National Anthem and a Black American flag a few years ago as of the posting of this video. This is an idea that is very prevalent. And many proponents of this idea will say, well, Christian, America wasn't built for black people. Nicole Hannah-Jones will say that America was built on the foundation of slavery. Many people will even tell you that the Constitution didn't originally include black people. And therefore, black people, having suffered so much, should have the ability to reclaim their spot in American society. I reject all of this from the outset. These are rotten and corrupt ideas at the very root. To start off, as I mentioned, America is for everybody who is willing to affirm its principles. If you affirm the principles of natural law, natural rights, popular sovereignty, individualism, individual freedom, republicanism, true nationalism, not collectivist nationalism, but true nationalism over slavish globalism. If you affirm all of these ideas, you are, by definition, an American. If you affirm the ideas of tyranny, of identity politics, of slavishness to certain ideas, of attempting to suppress man's rational spirit beneath emotion, of attempting to bind man to certain ideas by collective obligation, if you are a authoritarian, you are not, by definition, an American. If you view America through a racial lens, you are not a philosophical American. You can be an American on paper, but if you don't embody the ideas of America, you are not an American. The Constitution, my friends, is not merely a legal document written by old white men hundreds of years ago. The Constitution is fundamentally an ode to the human spirit. The Constitution is fundamentally an ode to the necessary prerequisite of all societies, and that is human freedom. And that ode happened to articulate at a very particular time and a very particular location certain conditions and requirements that were needed to ensure that human freedom and human liberty are respected. The Constitution has never been perfect. It never will be perfect. There are still parts of the Constitution today that I don't like the fact that the income tax is the Constitution. I don't like that very much. But it's not about the specific amendments or provisions of the Constitution. The Constitution is fundamentally about what it stands for. And up until that time in human political history, there was nothing like the American Constitution. There were precursors, there was the Magna Carta, there was all this kind of stuff, but nothing that's so prevalently said in the antecedent documents to it that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and governments are instituted among men, not above men, among men, to ensure those rights are protected. That vision has never been always held up to. But those who criticize the concept of America by its history, by the fact that its history has not always lived up to that concept, are those who confuse the universal with the local. You never attack a bad idea or a good idea rather, because it was implemented in a bad way. You never besmirch the idea of a car if someone goes into the car and uses it to massacre someone. The car was not being used the right way, but the car is still very useful. The car is still very good. No one would ever say that vehicles are inherently bad because they can be used wrong, and no one should ever say, if they're going to be logically and philosophically consistent, that the idea of America is tarnished by slavery and oppression, if they understand America is not about those things whatsoever. My friends, a Black National Anthem essentially says we are willing to make America about its history as opposed to about its principle. A Black National Anthem essentially says we are willing to bifurcate and divide this country on the basis of an identity that no one chose and no one had a choice over choosing. The idea of this Black National Anthem tries to bind us all with the chains of a racial collectivism. That goes against everything our country is fundamentally built upon. It's not merely about dividing us, but it is about assaulting the spirit of the nation. A national anthem is meant to reflect the values and principles of a country, and not the values and principles of its government, but the values and principles of the country. And the values and principles of America have never been clearer. In fact, they've never been so clear because America has so many adversaries around the world who do not hold our values and who have made it their goal to tear us down. Adversaries that aren't just external, but are also internal. Adversaries that populate academia. Adversaries that populate high schools and other kind of institutions of learning, so-called higher learning, although they're really not higher learning because they're learning things of a lower order, so let's say lower learning, inferior learning, that influence and direct our culture and poison our culture with subversion and resentment and distort and twist what the idea of America is. These are the kind of foes and adversaries that America is constantly fighting against because its idea, because its vision is so radically different. Now, many have said, well, Christian, this is actually just conservative outrage because the song is not actually a Black National Anthem. It's actually just a civil rights song. But this critique misses the point. The point is not about the song itself. The point is about how the song has been used and framed by the left as a tool in their class conflict struggle to usurp and distort America. Whenever a tool is used in that way, you should criticize how it's being used, but also understand how it's being used as well, even if it was never meant for that purpose. You see what I'm saying? So yes, the song itself is innocuous. It can actually even be a beautiful song, but it is being used as a framing technique to capture people into a mindset, into a philosophy, into a viewpoint that is destructive to the spirit and principle of what America actually is. My friends, we need a revolution of the mind in this country, in the West. We need a revolution of intellect in Western society. We need to understand that these forces frame things and phrase things as benevolent and innocent and make you feel as if you are a villain for going against them, when in all reality you may just be a American-loving, freedom-loving patriot like me. You may just be someone who doesn't have all these fancy degrees, who had never had a racist bone in their body, but you understand that America was not born in slavery. America was not born in oppression. America was born in humanism. America was born in a profound respect for the moral character of free society that had not been seen on this earth until that point. Those of us who truly understand what this country means, who truly understand what it means to have the American dream, what it means to come to a place from dirt poverty, and rise up and have a respectable middle-class life, and provide bounty for your family, what it means to be able to exist in a place where your words are not constantly monitored yet by a sort of thought police, and your YouTuber and police break down your door and arrest you, which happens all the time in Europe, to exist in a place where we still have the prerequisites for a free society that we're slowly losing like sand through our fingers, but yet we still have it because people struggle for it. But like Reagan said, freedom is only one generation away from extinction. Freedom is not free. Freedom is costly. It costs you mental effort. Freedom costs you physical effort. Freedom may even cost you friends. But my friends, regardless of what it costs you, what costs more is giving up on what is right. What costs more is giving up what is moral. What costs more is giving up on the idea that must be implemented for any society to flourish and function. And that is the idea of human liberty. That costs quite a lot. All patriots, all people who understand even what America is about, should and must reject the idea of a Black National Anthem. They should and must reject the pseudo-Marxist class conflict framing that agent provocateurs have sicked upon our society in great fashion and have inflicted the minds of Gen Z with in horrible fashion. They should and must reject the subversive attempts to redefine what America is about and stand strongly in their boots, stand strongly in the ground, knowing that this country represents an idea much higher than politics, much higher than anything else we can conceive, an idea that rests within every single one of us. But it's also an idea that can go away if every single one of us don't stand up for it. My friends, love you guys so much. If you love me, please support me. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, support my work. Please be sure to if you want to donate to me, I have a PayPal, a Patreon, everything in the comment section down below. Join my Discord for more conversations. Please be sure to tell your friends about this video. Start discussions. Really, this is supposed to be a collaborative process. Society is a collaborative process. So if you want to see me do more work and just do more commentary on a lot of different topics, then please be sure to interact. I love you guys so much, and please stay pensive. God bless you all. Bye-bye.